years ago, a new center was birthed, charged to collect.
A blessing, good evening, and welcome to RSN News Bulletin at 7. My name is Hansen Decker, presenting First Airlines. Vice President Jeremiah Kun wants members of the Liberian Senate prioritize accountability, respect for the rule of law, and job opportunities for the citizenry. The pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, Nyombi Kanka Lawrence, declares her asset. Ministry of Health discloses the arrival of the STRS malaria vaccine in the country. And away from Liberia, 6 Ghanaians, including 3 soldiers, have been sentenced to death by hanging for their involvement in a coup plot 3 years ago. Those were the headlines on the news in detail. Vice President Jeremiah Kun wants members of the Liberian Senate to prioritize accountability, respect for the rule of law, and opportunities for the citizenry. VP Kun said over the past months, the democracy of Liberia has been tested comparatively and lended the nation to a peaceful transition based on the popular will of the people in favor of the Unity Party. The Liberian Vice President registered that the current leadership has to share responsibility to reconcile the country aimed at avoiding green and blue as the performance of the UP government will be judged by the people comes next election. He noted that the survival of the state and the Liberian people depends on the decision of the Senate. As such, they must be cognizant of the sacrifices made by the people during the heat of the rainy season. At the same time, Vice President Kun has also vowed to exert efforts confidence reports in him to become the vice president of the country. The former Nema County Senator described peace as the most important ingredients for nation building that must not be overlooked. Meanwhile, VP Kun has lauded former President George Weah and Vice President Joel Howard Taylor for their term of governance of the country. The Sunday pro tempore of the Liberian Sunday, Nyombi Kanka Lawrence, has declared her asset. Senator Nyombi Kanka Lawrence's assets was declared to the Secretary of the Senate, Nangbala Singwe, for onward presentation to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. Pro tempore Lawrence says the decision of asset was that her declaration of assets was necessary to fulfill the asset declaration provision as enshrined in the Code of Conduct. According to a release from the Press and Public Affairs Department of the Senate, Pro tempore Lawrence further indicated that the declaration of asset is also intended to promote transparency and accountability in governance. She at the same time promised to have her asset published in fulfillment of the law and called on her colleagues to follow suit. Receiving the asset declaration from the pro tempore, Senate Secretary Nangbala Singwe acknowledged that Pro tempore Lawrence remains one of the senators who have previously declared her asset in keeping with law. The Ministry of Health has disclosed this arrival of the RTS malaria vaccine in the country. The 1,200 RTS malaria vaccine was made possible through collaborative effort of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, World Health Organization, and the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF. The importation of the vaccine, according to a release, is based on studies showing that children under 5 years in Liberia experience high rates of malaria infection with a prevalence rate of 10%. The release noted that the malaria vaccine marks a significant milestone in the fight against malaria, a preventable mosquito-borne disease that kills children under age 5 every minute in Africa. The release noted that the arrival of the life-saving vaccine is a game changer in the fight against malaria. Adolphus Clark, director of the expanded program on immunization at the Ministry of Health of Liberia, committed to ensuring that every child in Liberia has access to the vaccine and is protected from the deadly disease. The release quotes Director Clark that the RTS vaccine was piloted in Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi since 2019 and has been shown to be safe and effective, reducing severe malaria by 30% and malaria deaths by 13%. The head of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights says culture of impunity and lawlessness are elements that undermine the progress of the country. Councillor Dempster Brown, according to RCI judicial correspondent, said past governments were reluctant to set up war crimes court or special court and called on the Bwaka-led government not to undermine the establishment of war crimes court or special court. He said in establishing the court, the Liberian National Bar Association and the INCHR are institutions that should form part of the process. He said the Act of 2005 gives INCHR the right to advise the government on issues of human rights, stressing that the present government should not operate in sympathy. Councillor Brown noted that corruption is an enemy to society and violation of the rights of citizens, noting that people must be held accountable for their actions. An employee of the SRB bank assigned as its clearing officer has been arrested and brought to court for allegedly stealing over 300,000 United States dollars and over 21 million Liberian dollars. Defendant John Gwenian was charged for theft of property, misapplication of entrusted property, and criminal conspiracy. Defendant John Gwenian, according to RCI judicial correspondent, was held culpable of fraud during investigation for the amount in question. Our judicial correspondent further revealed police investigations that the transactions were done between 2021 and 2023, where SRB filed the complaint against their clearing officer, John Gwenian. The investigations established that there were several transactions from businesses and customers where defendant John Gwenian plotted and intentionally kept checks until the 3 working days grace period expired. Our judicial correspondent further said that defendant Gwenian conspired and colluded with Charles Blamman, the owner of Trust Management Construction, Marinan Singbe, owner of the John Sport Bar and Restaurant, Copa Momolud, and Deconti Sawi, owners of Mark Investment and A&G Business Center, including staffs of the Treasury Department of SRB, to steal the money in question. Still in more news, the political leader of the Movement for Progressive Change, Simon Freeman, has turned aside relating to the recent incident that occurred during the inaugural ceremony Monday. Simon Freeman said President Joseph Walker should take full responsibility of the incident and embarrassment caused the country. According to Freeman, President Walker, as an integrity icon, should have announced the suspension of heads of the organizing team for the embarrassment brought to the nation. He stressed that it is sad for the country to experience such a shame, especially in the presence of foreign guests and partners. Freeman termed the incident as a beginning of a massive incompetence on the part of President Joseph Walker. Contrary to reports that 5,000 United States dollars was given to each lawmaker for the inaugural ceremony of President Joseph Walker, Representative Reggie Kuhn of the Unity Party has provided clarity surrounding the money in question. Speaking Thursday during debates concerning the amount, Representative Kuhn said the amount was disbursed to the district leadership across the country and not to the lawmaker. Representative Kuhn, who contested as Speaker and lost to Speaker Funati Kofa, narrowly disclosed that the amount from President Joseph Walker was intended to keep the people celebrating in their respective districts to avoid overcrowdedness at the Capitol building. Representative Reggie Kuhn, being appointed chairman on the committee on hydrocarbon, called on his colleagues to investigate their district leadership concerning the amount. There have been claims and counterclaims in the public space that President Joseph Walker distributed 5,000 United States dollars to each of the 73 electoral districts for celebration purpose during the inaugural ceremony on January 22, 2024. For his part, Lofa County District 3 Representative Siafa Kutu and Montserrat County District 10 Representative Yeka Koluba called on their colleagues to ensure that clarity on the talk about $5,000 is investigated by the Justice Committee on the Executive. Representatives Kutu and Kolba further that since the announcement of the funds that were given, they have received several calls from their constituents concerning said amount. In adherence to the rules of the House of Representatives, Speaker Fonati Kofa has appointed Nema County District 7 Representative Musa Belete as Chair of National Security. Speaker Kofa, in his appointment Tuesday, also named Magibi County District 5 Representative Clarence Gar as Chair on Public Accounts and Representative Dixon Sibu of Montserrat County District 16 as Chair on Waste Means, Finance, and Planning. Bong County District 7 Representative for the Family as Chair on Good Governance and Reform. The 55th Legislature Speaker also appointed Montserrat County District 9 Representative Frank Safoko as Chair on the Maritime Committee. The appointment of all committee heads and members will last for 3 years unless there is a cause for removal. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs Workers Association has described the administration of former Minister Mazer Kimian as a movement of threats and intimidation from him and his senior managers against the staff of the military. They named the lack of transport services to commit employees, low wages among other appalling situations as reason for their statements. According to the Foreign Ministry Workers, Minister Kimian's leadership at the ministry was the worst ever in the history of Liberia, noting that the minister was good at misinforming the public on things that were not of reality at the ministry. Meanwhile, Mofawa, through its president, Christina Wabro, raised concern about the wave of deselection, commissioning, plotting, that's posting and record of foreign service officers about the former foreign minister. According to Manawablo, the foreign service has become a dump site for posting unprofessional, inexperienced persons with a foreign service credentials and public service experience. Mofawa added that the Foreign Service has become a place where people are qualified to go as long as they are family members to those who are at the helm of power, something they say must not continue under the regime of President Joseph Imambuakai. In a related development, the leadership of Mofawa has disclosed the launch of an ongoing investigation about some of their members who were given letters of suspension for 1 month without pay, and others were taken from the CSA payroll without any prior informed warning by the former minister. The group said all these unbearable working situations took place at the ministry prior to the departure of Minister Kimian, though there is an ongoing investigation on the matter. The group has also praised Montserrat County Senator Darius DeLong, who is the Senate Committee Chair on Foreign Affairs, about issues affecting them at the Ministry for appropriate actions by giving them his audience. United Party District 3 Coordinator Martin Tokpa has sharply reacted to the district representative accusation about the $5,000 received for the inauguration ceremony. Tokpa said the money directly came from the United Party but not the government angle as being perceived. He said the money was intended for the celebration of the inauguration ceremony of President Joseph Yuma. He spoke Thursday in an RCNews interview. The Director for Information Services at the Liberian House of Parliament, McCarthy Wild, said the legislature is being treated as a bureau because of unserious leadership of the past. In conversation with the station recently, McCarthy Wild maintained that until the leadership of the first branch of government is in accordance with its statutory mandate, it would not be considered as such. According to him, parliamentarian membership goes beyond legislating national instruments to institutional rebranding that reflects tangible contributions to national transformation. And in foreign news, 6 Ghanaians, including 3 soldiers, have been sentenced to death by hanging for their involvement in the coup plot 3 years ago. This was the first treason trial in Ghana since 1966 when post-independence leader Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown. The six were arrested in 2021 while testing weapons in the capital Accra to allegedly topple the government. The group, including a gunsmith, pleaded not guilty during a trial that captured the attention of the nation. Defense lawyers said they would appeal against the ruling in the Supreme Court. Three other people, including a senior police officer and two military officers, were acquitted. Now, to end this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn wants members of the Liberian Senate prioritize accountability, respect for the rule of law, and job opportunities for the citizenry. Senate Pro Tempore Nobly Kanka Lawrence declares her assets. Ministry of Health discloses the arrival of the RTS malaria vaccine in the country. And in foreign news, 6 Ghanaians, including 3 soldiers, have been sentenced to death by hanging for their involvement in a coup plot 3 years ago. That's RCA News Bulletin at 7. My name is Henson Decker. Good evening.
Starting today, why not have a little more fun? Why not use money this easily? Why not get even closer to family? Why not work how you've always wanted? Fun, money, family, work. No network keeps you connected to it all, quite like Orange. It's all about what matters to you.